Alright, what's going on, guys? Today, we're reacting to do's and don'ts of visiting Chicago. Now, what I will say is, do not visit Chicago. Don't think about visiting Chicago. And there we go. The do's and don'ts of visiting Chicago.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World. Today we're here in Chicago, Millennium Park. We've got the Bean behind us. And today what we have for you are
The Bean is the most useless and pointless thing in existence.
the don'ts of visiting Chicago. And this city is fantastic. Tons of great museums, awesome people,
The museums are boring. They suck.
amazing
People smell like pee.
food, weather, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
All the time is bad.
But the thing is, even in great cities like Chicago, we got the things you want to do, and we got the things you
The things you want to do, don't come. The things you don't want to do, come.
don't do. So the first don't I have for you, and probably the most important don't I have for you when you come to Chicago is don't drive and don't deal with the parking. Look, Chicago traffic is horrible all year round, all day long, all the time. Whether you're heading
Okay, that actually just depends on where you're at. Like, if you're just mad, if you're downtown, which downtown? Listen, Chicago is, okay, how do I describe this? Downtown is not Chicago. If you live downtown, you don't live in Chicago, okay? You live downtown. You get what I'm saying? Okay, see, but aside from that, right? The traffic depends on where you're at. If you're downtown, you're gonna have mad traffic. It's downtown. There's tourists everywhere. There's taxis holding the tourists. There are buses holding the tourists. There's buses holding normal people trying to get to work. There's cars trying to get to work. There's cars that people rent out trying to get to work. Duh. See, if you're somewhere else, like Southside, probably never gonna have that much traffic, okay?
to here to the airport, driving here downtown, taking the interstate around the city. Driving is just chaotic here. And the thing is, the people are very aggressive drivers too, so it could be a little hair-raising, white-knuckly when you are driving here.
They're not aggressive, they just don't know how to drive.
In Chicago, so just have a heads up for that. So if you can, just don't drive when you're here. And also going along with that, don't deal with the parking. Oh my gosh. Parking downtown Chicago is insane expensive. Somewhere between college tuition and a mortgage payment, I think that's where parking is here in Chicago. So what I recommend is come in with the train, fly in, use public transport, whatever.
Do not use public transport. It smells like pee.
Try not to drive when you are here. Now the thing is, if you are driving to Chicago and you gotta park and stuff like that, get the parking at your hotel and just leave it. Use public transport, use Uber, use whatever. You can walk around the city easily because you don't want to have to get out, try to drive, find another place to park, pay another insane expensive parking rate when you're there. Just don't do that, okay? And that kind of leads into our second don't is don't worry about not driving because the CTA, the Chicago Transit Authority, actually has really good public transportation.
Yes, it has really good, cheap public transportation, which smells like pee.
Here in Chicago. I mean, this is what public transportation should be in the U.S. They've got the elevated train going around that'll take you all over the place. The bus system here, awesome. And the thing is, it goes to pretty much every tourist place you want to go as a tourist. You can go there on public transportation. And what's cool is actually the price for the public transportation here in Chicago is actually a fair price too. So it's really cool. So make sure you do use that public transportation when you are here. Now my next don't for you here in Chicago is don't worry about being bored. This city is chock.
You're going to be extremely bored. If your attention can be catered by a metal bean, you're just weird.
Full of world-class museums, festivals, concerts, all kinds of awesome stuff to do. You've got the Art Institute of Chicago, one of the best art museums in the world. You got the Shedd Aquarium, one of the top aquariums in the world. You got the Field Museum, one of the best natural history museums in the world. You got the Museum of Science and Industry, one of the best science museums in the world. You see where I'm going here? The planetarium.
See, I would say they were the best. They'd be the best at being the worst because they're extremely boring. Nothing to do. Right? It's the same.
There's all kinds of great stuff here. Broadcast Museum. You got all kinds of great museums here. You don't like museums? That's fine. Hit the theater here. Pay a fraction of the price you pay in New York and see fantastic shows at the theaters here in Chicago and around. Oh, you want to do stuff?
Last time I went to the theater, I saw Lion King. And since I was a little kid, I thought the dude who was playing Mufasa actually died.
Your kids, great. You got Great America. You can go to the amusement parks that are here.
Cause I saw him fall from like this tall thing, and it was okay. You know what?
There's all
Chicago sucks.
kinds of amazing things to do here in Chicago, so you're never really bored.
That's Six Flags. It's not even part of Chicago. Multiple. Plus, Six Flags low-key kinda sucks. Kinda. It's like the same thing. Like, if you go once, sure, but you can't. Oh my gosh. That is Six Flags.
When you're here, because there's always something else to do. What else do we need to do? What's next? What's next? What's next? And if you come here in the summertime, I know I'm not here in the summertime right now.
If you come here during the summertime, the fumes from the pee and poo and the sewage rise out into the air. And that's all you smell.
When you come in the summer, there's all kinds of great festivals going on when you're here. My personal favorite is the Taste of Chicago, which is right behind the camera here. You go there, you try different foods from different restaurants throughout the city. Oh my God, it is a fantastic experience. So you've always got something to do. Whether you want to watch sports, yeah, you can watch the Bulls.
I wonder how much money's in there. Huh.
Play. You can watch the Bears, the Cubs, the White Sox. You can see them. The Fire. I mean, there's so many sports to do. Watch,
That's
see,
so
things to do.
dirty.
Bike riding, all kinds of stuff here. Believe me, you will never be bored when you're here in Chicago. Oh yeah, there's also great nightlife. You know, Rush Street or go party in Wrigleyville. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff to do when you're here. So don't worry about being bored, okay? And the thing is, a lot of people don't realize is when you're a tourist, a lot of times you stay downtown or in the Loop. You know, oh, I'm going to go to the Magnificent Mile, then I'll stay in the Loop.
Yeah, which is not Chicago. You are not in Chicago. You are downtown. Once again, proving my point. Chicago sucks.
I'll stay down in this area here. What you don't realize is don't just stay in the Loop in the downtown
Hold
area.
on. This video is 18 minutes long. Oh my.
Yeah, go out and explore. There's really cool suburbs to go check out. Go to the North Shore. Go see Evanston. Go head out and go to Gurney, yes, and go to Great America, stuff like that. The Lincoln Park Zoo. Go out to Greektown. There's all kinds of things you can see and do in the Chicago area that's not just in the Loop. Because as a tourist, most of the time we're kind of down here in the Loop, in the downtown area kind of stuff, maybe a little bit north of there on Michigan Avenue.
What are you going to the suburbs for if you're trying to visit Chicago? Who thinks, let me go to the suburbs? The most boring area ever. Like, what's the point?
And we don't get out there and see things, so make sure you go out and explore, and that public transportation will take you out there. Okay, you can grab a metro train to hit some of the suburbs as well, so that is really kind of a cool thing. Another don't, I guess I should say, is if you're going to be staying downtown, which you probably will, don't expect a lot going on after 6 or 7 o'clock at night downtown, because this is more of a work area, so people go home. So it's like a ghost town at night here and on the weekends, so do have a heads up for that. You know, keep your eyes open a little bit more.
I mean, if you do come to Chicago and you want to see stuff going on at night, I recommend, the hood. It's like, not downtown, right? But just like, come more in, right? South side, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. A lot of stuff goes on there. Sucks.
In the evening time here, because honestly, you're down here, one, maybe to go to a show at one of the theaters, maybe go out to eat, but there's not a lot of things going on here. Also, the shops here downtown actually close earlier than the malls in the suburbs and stuff like that, so just have a heads up for that. So kind of going on with that ghost town kind of feeling is sometimes you think ghost town, oh, should I be worried? Well,
yes.
That kind of leads into another don't I have for here in Chicago. Don't be lackadaisical with your safety here. Probably the most dangerous thing for a tourist, though, is when you cross the street, because the drivers are a little nuts here and they're quite aggressive. So do have a heads up when you're crossing the street. Don't just stand at the end or stand in the street when you're getting ready to go. Make sure you're paying attention. That's one thing. Another thing, if you feel uncomfortable in any part, you don't feel right, go hop into a store or hop into a restaurant. It's okay, call a cab, call an Uber and head out. I mean, there are some parts of Chicago you don't want to go to. I'm sure in the comment section you'll hear a lot of things down there. But what I'd recommend is ask your hotel, hey, we're looking to go here. Is it okay? Is that okay? Just ask them. And that's one thing you see anywhere in the world. There's good parts of town, there's bad parts of town. So do have a heads up for that. And do ask where you should go or shouldn't go. Because the city is fantastic, but there are issues you got to think about. Always keep your eye out. I mean, some of the things might just annoy you. It's not really a safety thing. You'll have guys, hey, can I have a dollar? Can I have a dollar? Man, all you got to say is either give them a dollar and say, I'm sorry, man, or just walk by.
I'm not even gonna say anything on that.
They won't give you really any trouble there, but do be smart when you are here in Chicago, because there are parts of towns you should.
No, you see, sadly, you can't be smart when you come to Chicago, because when you enter Chicago, your brain cells are taken out of you, so you lose about 90% of them.
Go to, and if you're not sure, I would ask your concierge, hey, this is where we're going to go today. What do you think? Is that okay there? And they'll let you know. And I would really just say is use your usual travel sense. If you're coming down here and where a lot of tourists are, yeah, keep your wallet in your front pocket and stuff like that. But overall, I haven't had really any problems in Chicago, but I know there are problems, so do have a heads up. But honestly, the biggest safety thing for you as a tourist is crossing that street, okay? Now, another kind of safety thing I have for you is, notice that sign behind me says caution ice. Look, don't mess around with the falling snow and falling ice if you come here in the winter. It can be dangerous. You see the building up there with that slant? Yeah, the ice packs up, the snow packs up, it falls. It can be dangerous, so don't mess around with those. I know some tourists are like, oh, that's a cool picture, I want to get that. Do have a heads up with those. And I guess another don't, I'll kind of go along with that, is don't think you shouldn't visit Chicago in the winter. I'm here in the winter, and the thing is, the people in Chicago know that it's very cold and windy and snowy. It can be here in the wintertime in Chicago, and they have prepared the city for you. That means the museums, all the fantastic museums, the restaurants, all this stuff, you can have a great time inside when you're here, so don't be scared.
I'm sorry, but who goes, yeah, I want to go on a nice vacation. Let me go to a normally cold city during the winter. See, once again, your brain cells already have to be gone by like 50, right? So then when you come to Chicago, they're gone.
For coming here in the winter months. Now, I'm not going to say it's the best time to come, because you come here in January with the wind and you're walking like this, maybe you're not going to have as good of a time as you came here in the spring or the summer, when you can hit the beaches and stuff like that and go out on Lake Michigan and do an architectural building tour and things like that. It's better to come in the summer and spring, but don't think you can't come in the winter time, okay? And speaking of some tourist stuff, don't forget to do one of those architectural boat tours when you're here. Look, this is kind of the home of the skyscraper, and you have amazing architecture throughout the city. I mean, I would say don't forget to stretch your neck out before you come to Chicago, because you're going to be looking up and seeing all these really cool skyscrapers and all these really cool buildings. The Tribune Tower, the Wrigley.
You want to see these buildings? Just watch Chicago Fire.
Building, yeah, Sears Tower or Willis Tower, however you spell it. There's all kinds of the Hancock Building going around. Oh my gosh, there's so many fantastic buildings to take in and architecture to come in. And if you take that architectural boat tour on the Chicago River, it's really cool because they give you the history and the explanations of the buildings and
the history.
Chicago River,
right?
It's really cool.
The history. Back in the early 1900s, some guys were building that, and then one of them fell off.
The history and the explanations of the buildings and the styles, and it really brings a lot more out. So when you walk around the city, you really get a lot more bang for your buck when you look at these fantastic buildings. Now
yeah, a lot more bang. Yeah, you're losing money.
Notice I had a little problem saying Sears, Willis, Sears Tower. Look, my next don't for you is, don't call it Willis Tower with the locals. Look, it's always going to be the Sears Tower. Now, if you might not know this, it's actually spelled W-I-L-L-I-S Tower, but you pronounce it Sears Tower.
What? No, he's lying. Listen, if you come to Chicago, it is the Willis Tower, okay? And if you're asking somebody where the tower is, like, excuse me, native Chicagoan, right? Or native pea smeller, right? Where is the Willis Tower? And they will gladly point you in the direction.
Okay, just so you know. Now, Okay, I mean, it's one of those things. It's changed names, okay? And the thing is, Sears Tower or Willis Tower was at one time the tallest building in the world. And they actually have an observation deck at the top you can go see. It's probably one of the most popular pictures, aside from the bean, that I see from people when they go to Chicago. But I'm going to tell you something. If for going to the Willis/Sears.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. It's extremely boring. You sit there in a glass box looking down. Ooh. Imagine it just falls.
Tower. Don't.
I'd say that's at least a better thought of going there to the glass box at the Sears Tower. I mean, the Willis Tower, than going to a bean, a metal bean.
Feel that you have to pay to go up and get a great view of the city, and that's the only place to get it. What I recommend, go to the Hancock building, 96th floor. There's a bar there. It's free to go up, and you have free views of this beautiful city. But also what's cool is the drinks up there are actually pretty fairly priced, so why?
I think I went there before for like the air and water show. I had hot chocolate. It was okay. It was okay. It was okay.
Head to the Hancock, go up the 96th floor, hit the bar there, have a great drink while you look at this great city. That's a much better way to spend your money that you'd spend.
Or I'd say have a great drink while you look at this interesting city.
Going up to the top of the Sears/Willis Tower, spend that on a drink in the Hancock building. That's what I would recommend.
I don't even
Now,
think
some
you'd
other
have any cash left after taking all these buses and people asking you for money.
First things you should know about. One thing is, if you're going to go to Navy Pier, which is a very much a tourist place, realize don't expect to see locals at Navy Pier. Navy Pier is, I mean, it's really developed for tourists, and it's nice for tourists to go to. I go there because I'm a tourist. I'm not from Chicago. I enjoy.
What? Yeah. Bro, what? Hold on.
Enjoy that, but nice for tourists to go to. I go there because I'm a tourist. I'm not from Chicago.
Bro. Alright, see, now with that said, I will make my own do's and don'ts for tourists coming to Chicago. Number one, do's, right? Okay, for the do's. Do not come to Chicago, okay? Okay. Do not think about coming to Chicago, okay? Do not even speak the word Chicago, okay? If you do come, okay, do get a plane ticket back home or however you got here. Yeah, do go back home, right? Do eat the food. Now for the don'ts. Don't come. Don't think about coming. Don't think about thinking about coming, right? Don't stay here after you come. There you go.
I enjoy that, but the locals will tell you, oh, that's a tourist thing, so don't expect to see the locals there. Another thing I guess I should say about the locals, don't expect to hear that Chicago accent. You know, you saw on TV back in the day, Alex Sassage in Chicago, the Bears, the Bulls. People don't talk.
People really give us a New York accent?
Talk like that here anymore, okay? Yes, you'll find a few people that do occasionally.
No, the people who do speak like that are from New York.
But
or
in
Jersey.
The Chicago accent sadly has kind of died off, so you're not going to hear that when you're here. Another don't with the people here. Don't trust everyone that tells you they're from Chicago, because most likely they're from the suburbs. Actually, Chicago, the city proper, is actually relatively small, and most of the people in the Chicago metropolitan area live out in the suburbs. So
W tourist, he knows what he's talking about with this. Yup.
That person you meet,
For y'all people that be saying you're from Chicago and you're from Naperville or Skokie, whatever, you're not. Okay? Stay in your little burb and stop trying to claim Chicago. Okay? Okay. Good.
says, oh yeah, I'm from Chicago, they might be from Evanston, or they might be from Naperville, or Arlington Heights, or Tinley Park, or wherever. And the thing is, if you have people that are from real Chicago, like they're born here in Chicago, they grew up in Chicago, they will call out those people every single day. Oh, really? What's true of you? Where'd you grow up? Which school did you go to? Oh, you mean you're from Naperville? Oh, right. So you're not really from Chicago, you're from the burbs, okay? So that's sort of a little fun thing you'll see with the locals here. Now, another thing tourists love to do when they travel is eat. And
Bro, I'm tired of seeing that bean, bro. Oh. Some tourists probably watching this and just getting excited just looking at that bean.
Chicago's
weirdo.
No exception to those eating cities. And my don't for that is don't come to Chicago on a diet. They love huge portion sizes.
You're gonna get fat.
They love their food, they love their meat, they love their everything here, and you're gonna eat a lot when you're here. I mean, the deep dish pizza here, the Chicago style deep dish pizza, yeah, it's like this thick, and you will just be so full. And the thing is, there's so many great restaurants here. It's not just the deep dish pizza and the Chicago hot dog. No, there's so much more here. Go to Greektown, have amazing Greek food. Little Italy, there's great.
I'm hungry now. I'm hungry.
Great Mexican food here. Have some great Polish food, German food. There's so many different nationalities and ethnicities here in Chicago, and they've brought their food here, so you have amazing food when you're here. So don't come on a diet, just go and enjoy everything, all right? Now, I do have a couple don'ts for some traditional Chicago things. One,
are we finally on the don'ts?
The deep dish pizza here in Chicago.
Don't come, W tours.
Don't think you can finish the pizza yourself. I know a lot of people go, oh, I get a pan pizza from Pizza Hut. I get a medium and finish it.
If you're not from Chicago, you're not finishing a deep dish by yourself. You're not used to that immaculate flavor, okay? You're not used to that beautiful, thick, juicy pizza, okay?
Myself.
I can.
Oh, no. That's like their tiny baby, little tiny brother versus the Chicago style deep dish pizza. This stuff, I'm talking like I can barely finish 2 slices. That's how thick and big it is with all the meat and cheese and then the sauce on top, the really thick.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that beautiful deep dish.
Crust. I mean, it will really fill you up. I had some last night, and I was smart. I got the individual size. The guy next to me, who was a tourist from England, he's like, oh, I'll get a small. That's what I get at Pizza Hut at home. I'm like, dude, get the individual. He's like, no, I'll get it. And he sat there, he got through 2 and maybe a half pieces and didn't eat the end of them. And he's like, I can't eat anymore. I'm like, I told you. And so do have a heads up for that. Also, don't be surprised if it takes them about 45 minutes to cook that deep dish pizza, because it takes a while to be there. Also,
it takes a while. It takes a while for perfection to be made, okay?
Let them talk you into getting appetizers. It's going to be enough food anyway when you get the pizza, okay? So instead of ordering food appetizers, just drink some of the good Chicago beer when you're here. Revolution Brewery, Two Brothers Brewery. Maybe get some Goose Island when you're here. I mean, a 312 is always good with pizza, so do have that. Another...
Bro, I don't even drink. But isn't beer just like... Doesn't... People say beer tastes like edible pee.
Don't with the food. If you get that Chicago dog, you know, people always say, well, don't put ketchup on your Chicago dog. It's true. It's got so much other stuff on there, it doesn't need it.
Listen. Don't put ketchup, of course. Obviously, you don't do that. But put barbecue sauce on.
I mean, it's got pickles and relish and tomatoes and mustard and like sweet jalapenos, like kind of things on top. It's so good, and it's got so many other flavors that it mixed perfectly together that you don't need the ketchup, so don't worry about that. One of the great things about Chicago is actually it has something for everybody, whether you like culture, whether you like food, whether you like sports, whether you like art. There's all kinds of stuff for everybody. So what I want to say is don't forget to bring the whole family when you come here to Chicago, because they have stuff for everybody. Yes, you can do the amusement parks like Great American, stuff like that, or you can do the art and...
Why does he keep saying Great America? Like, no, that's not really part of Chicago. That's like going to... whatever other state, I think, like, it's like going to Virginia and be like, oh, let's go to Six Flags. That's a staple in Virginia.
Institute or the Museum of Science Industry. My kids love it. Every time we go there, we spend an entire day there. And that's what's so cool about Chicago. The people are friendly. They're cool with the kids being here. There's stuff for them all the time. So don't think this is just a romantic getaway place. This is actually a really cool place.
Whoa. Romantic getaway place. Hold on. hear about Chicago yells romantic.
For the whole family.
Is it the bean? Is it the bean? I'm guessing it's the bean for you foreigners.
Family to come.
For you tourists, you non-Chicagoans.
Okay? And speaking of places you should go with a family, or maybe not with a family, it's up to you. Go into a game at Wrigley. And I would say, don't think baseball's too boring to go to a game at Wrigley Field. For those of you who don't know, baseball is a very popular sport here in the U.S., but a lot of people that don't know it think it's pretty boring. And actually, people that
It's boring.
It's like,
no, it is boring. No, listen. Nobody likes actually watching it. Okay, no one likes watching it. It is so boring. Even people who play it don't like watching it. It is boring.
like the quintessential, I know it's my favorite word in these videos, quintessential Chicago sports visit, okay? The whole area, it's called Wrigleyville. There's tons of bars, restaurants, all kinds of stuff. It's like, it should be called Partyville, because before the game, during the game, and after the games, they have party time, okay? And you're drinking your beers and having your fun and going to watch the Cubs play. And what's cool, as a tourist, the Cubs play during the day a lot of times. In the summer, they have 81 home games, okay? Most of them are during the day. So you can see some sights during the day, then the afternoon, go head out to a game, take it in. Sitting in the bleachers is the must, but don't think that there's assigned seats in the bleachers. You just kind of go where you want to go. Yes, you buy overpriced beer, but it's such a great experience to go to the game that really don't pass it up if you have a chance here in Chicago, okay? Another don't I have for you has to do with the airport. Look, there's O'Hare and there's Midway here. O'Hare's probably the airport you're probably going to fly into or out of. And my don't for you is don't mess with O'Hare. Look, if you've got a flight out...
O'Hare. Bro, never... I hear about it. I feel like... Is that actually the tourist one? O'Hare. Bro, I go to Midway.
And they say be there 2 hours early, be there 2 hours early, okay? They say be there 3 hours early, be there 3 hours early. Because O'Hare is infamous for sometimes long check-in lines, long security checkpoints, stuff like that, and it can take a long time. And I know a lot of people that have missed flights because they didn't get through security fast enough, so don't mess around with O'Hare. And if you're flying in internationally and you're transferring through Chicago, you'll fly into Terminal 5, and then you got to take the train to one of the other terminals. The thing is, when you do that, you go out and the train is outside security, so you have to go on that and then go back through security again to get back in the other terminal. So do have a heads up for that. It will take you some time, so don't mess around with O'Hare, okay? A couple more don'ts for you. When you are going around Chicago, don't expect to find a lot of public toilets. You'll see a lot of restaurants and places will say...
Yeah, because, you know, you have nature around you. You got the trees, you got the grass, right? You got the bean.
No free public toilet or something like that. So you might need to grab a drink or something for to use their bathrooms. Another don't I have for you, if you're going to take the metro out to the suburbs, don't forget to pick up your ticket at the ticket station before you get on the metro, because you can buy the tickets on the metro, but they do charge you like $5 more. So if you're going to go out there, save the $5, don't forget to pick up the ticket before you get on. So just a couple other ones I want to put in. We'll go back to the pretty bean for some more stuff. And my last don't for you here in Chicago is don't pass up the second city. Look, Chicago should be the first city you want to visit when you come to the U.S. because of the culture, because of the sports, because of the festivals, because of the awesome people. You will love Chicago, the Midwest feel here, the friendly people, the fun stuff to do. It really is a fantastic city to visit. That's why when you talk to people that come to the U.S., you'll see an inordinate amount of people say, I really love Chicago because this city rocks, okay? So I hope this helped.
No, you tell people you're from Chicago, like, whoa. Is it dangerous?
You know a bit more about Chicago, so you're more prepared when you do come here. We have some other videos. I have some really old videos from being here, but also some more recent ones like 5 things you should eat when you come here and other things like that to help you out. Also, if you want some other don'ts, maybe the don'ts of visiting the U.S. or the don'ts of the Midwest, check us out on our website at waltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions, and if you do like travel videos like that, hit that subscribe button.
Can't believe Chicago got voted one like best city or something recently. Oh man. Hey you! Yeah, you watching the video right now. Did you leave a like? If you did like the video, you should also subscribe and turn on notifications so that you can be notified when I post another video. Also, you should follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Asaade. There, you'll find quality content. These are just clips, but Twitch is where it's at. So come on down to the Hotel de la Griffe. You'll be welcomed. Very, very welcomed.